Hello everyone. Very excited to be having conversation on what's happening in the Indian stock market during this COVID time. What does it mean for you as an investor in the stock market and a lot more. And today joining me is Prakarsh Gagdani. He's the founder and CEO of 5paisa.com. And you know what is interesting? 5paisa.com is the first Indian fintech company which got listed. So there's a lot that they can tell us. There's a lot that they will share with us. And I'm so excited to be talking to this young, dynamic CEO who will give us very incisive information on what's happening in the stock market.
So 5paisa is basically what IIFL started around 20 years back, so around in 2000. So that time, brokerage was charged in percentage around 1%. So this name and the brokerage also was made as 0.05%. And that's how it became like 5paisa. So, but eventually after like few years, because IIFL got diversified into various businesses, the brand name was shelved. Because it was purely for broking and in that age of discount broking. But then when we were working on the idea of starting a discount broking, we thought of reinstating the brand 5paisa, because 5paisa basically denotes like practically nothing. Today paisa means it's insignificant. So what you pay to get the service is absolutely insignificant money, but what you get in return is far more value. So that's how the name 5paisa is, and we are continuing the philosophy behind having that name. And so as we speak now, we are almost 6.5 lakh customers that we have acquired in last 4 years. We've been growing at almost 150% plus year on year. Last year also, in terms of customer base, we grew almost 170%. So, and the growth looks almost the same and even better now. So this is what our overall customer base is. And from the start, we were very clear that it has to penetrate and into deeper markets. And there are so many areas in our country which is not very much into capital markets, like states like UP or Bihar or Jammu Kashmir or Northeast. So we said, let's expand the market. Everyone runs around those top 10 to 20, 30 cities. We said that let's break that and let's take our product to the lowest common denominator in the country. And I hope we've been able to do that, because almost 70-80% of these customers are coming from that area of the country. So especially these smaller towns, villages. So that's we feel good that most of the customers are the first timers. They're coming to the capital market through us.
First time customers. So 2-3 things. One is that how do they get to know about you? And in your study of the consumer base, what attracts them? It's like to get into this. And the third, if you could tell us about customers coming from UP, Bihar, and I'm from Bihar, and I'm not in stock market, so maybe I should look at that 5paisa.com. But if you can help us understand the consumer and their behavior who come from this market.
So see, what has happened is there has been a huge shift in the in the income patterns across the country. There are states which have been really growing well, but they were underpenetrated. Now, how a discovery of the product typically happens in today's era, if I don't know anything and I want to learn about anything for that matter, even if I want to learn about what is happening around the world in COVID, what I would do, I would just Google and I will search for some things that I feel is right in terms of terms, and then I'll get some search results. That's exactly the discovery of 5paisa happens. If I am someone who has started earning, and now I know that I have some income which is disposable after taking care of my expenses, where do I invest? So I'll go online, search for like a Demat account or online trading, and people will discover us. So if you do that, you will find us there on online platform, and that's how people then they download our app, then they use our app because it's free for them to use. Even if you are not a customer, you still use it. So they have this first-hand experience, and then they come to us. So it's basically through the online discovery by customers. And what I have also seen is that the income levels in the smaller towns have gone up substantially in last 5-10 years. And you see that in the real estate prices going up in smaller towns. People have more income, but then land prices have gone up, so people have capitalized there, so they have more money, but they have less expenditure, so they have good disposability. Second is there are millennials are damn smart. They don't want to do what their parents did. Like just put an FD or just earn 6-7%. So they are inquisitive, they're smart, and they're tech savvy. Everyone has a smartphone, everyone has an internet connection, and now the knowledge, knowledge is there. The world's knowledge is available on their mobile. So they research, they study, and then they choose a right product to invest. And that's how they come to us. So and we attract a lot of millennials. I mean, almost like maybe 65% of our customer base are the ones which are like less than 30 years of age. So they're pretty young. So that's how they discover and come to us.
Did you see what kind of impact have you seen because of COVID, because of the pandemic? Do you see people are more hesitant now, to engage and do any kind of an activity which might lead to loss of money?
So no, it's a very interesting question. It's a very surprising trend. So what happened is that markets were anyways not that great for last 1.5 years. So but obviously there were retail investors coming to market through mutual fund route, and we saw that SIPs going up and mutual fund investments was booming. But then people were not making money. Come February, and we were thinking that might be it's not that great a time, but the influx point there was SBI card IPO. So we saw that because of the IPO, normally retail investors come in, and we were happy. But suddenly this entire COVID thing came, and we were like, no, now it's gone. I mean, markets, investments, everything is going to go for a toss. But we saw a completely reverse trend. The way market started going down, double the speed people started coming towards stock market. So if you see March, April, May, June, these have been one of the best months in terms of people coming to capital market. There are more and more demat accounts getting opened, or rather the highest number of demat accounts got opened was somewhere in the month of March and April. People are having money, they're coming and investing. The money with which they're investing is also increased. So it's a completely reverse trend. And I was trying to understand that why this has happened. I mean, everywhere we are talking about that there might be job losses and people are not having businesses, and they have to pay their EMIs, but still why people are investing. So I don't have a definite answer, but what I think, because what I personally went through is when you were in lockdown, a lot of people must have seen their expenditures going down, right? And then you see saving. So at one end you see saving. Second, you also feel that future is uncertain. Anything can happen anytime. So there is a huge shift in the mindset of investor is what I feel, and that's why they are coming more towards investment. Second is what are the other options people have for investment as a retail investor? I mean, gold. That's something that is all-time hit. So that's one investment. But apart from that, you don't have a choice. So I see a reverse trend, and it's a very healthy trend and a very good trend, which I feel that it will continue for a long time. I mean, it's taken me by surprise, but good.
What do you do, when the customers come to your platform? And as you said that many of them are doing this for the first time, right? Trading for the first time. Do you have a platform, or do you have something where you teach them, train them, tell them how to use the platform effectively?
Definitely. As I said, most of these people are first timers. So they come with very basic queries, like for example, how do I transfer funds? Why do I need to give those many documents? And how do I trade? How to buy a stock. So they are very, very elementary, queries. What we saw is that, instead of reading, people prefer video. So, every one of us know that video has a huge consumption. So we focused our entire energies on, building our video inventory and training and imparting all these kind of process knowledge to people through videos. Our YouTube channel has more than around 1.1 lakh subscribers, one of the highest in the industry. We got almost like almost like 5 to 6 million views a month on these videos. And from start, we always created these videos in Hindi, because most of the people that we cater to are from the Hindi belt, and language was something that we said that should not be a barrier. So we started creating videos in Hindi, and then whenever you open an account with 5paisa, the first thing that we shoot out as an emailer is, please go through these videos, please see these videos. don't trade, but please go through and see exactly how you want to do it. So, and plus, there are like knowledge about broking and investing, fundamental analysis and derivatives. So there's a host of video training that we have on our channel. But what we try and cater is small, like 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute videos. So people should not get bored. Hindi, keep a language as simple as possible. So there are a lot of stuff that we do to educate people, because what happens is that the thrill of stock market is very intimidating. You see the prices go up and down, and you get very excited. And if you do not, come with proper channel, and you do not come with proper knowledge, there are high chances that you might end up in losses. And what happens is then you blame the product and the tool, and you don't blame yourself that, okay, I might have gone wrong. So it is very, very important for us as a broker to, keep, first step as learning. So, that's what we extensively do and also believe in.
Prakarsh, thinking one of the modules maybe you can start is self-awareness.
Yes.
What has the impact been on your retail investors?
Because of the COVID thing?
Yeah.
So retail investors, I see that, so I divide the question into two answers. One is people who are already investors. So for them, obviously, there's bad time, because markets were anyways down for last 1.5 years. So if I'm investor from last 2 years, 3 years and beyond, my stocks were already 40-50% down. And from there, my stocks are further 40-50% down. So like I'm literally at 20%, 25% of my portfolio. So that's a scary situation. But what we have seen is people have not gone out. They have pumped in more money. Typical retail investor. But when you are almost 80% down, what is left is up. So there are people who are investing more. Retail and the new customers, for them, it's a lottery. I mean, they come at a level when the best of the blue chips are available at 40, 50, 60, 70% kind of a discount at the prices which was this 4 months before. And whatever the scary situation we may be into, but it's not the end of the world. So obviously things will take time, and equity is for a long term. So people come with money, they are investing, and the good trend is they're staying for some time. It's not like, buy today and like sell tomorrow, just trade and speculate. So that's a good behavior that we are seeing. I mean, I totally agree with you that we are living in uncertain times. So we don't know. And I don't think so. The uncertainty is anyway going for at least next 3-4 months, because we don't have vaccines. We don't know where we're going to peak out. So there is a huge uncertainty. But what is happening is that people have taken, especially I'm not talking about the class which is, actually having a problem with survival. So that's a different class, and there's really a pain in that area. But there is a class of people who are not that bad in terms of their earning, but somewhere in between. This is a class of investors which is now coming to the markets and investing, and which is so basically a middle class, income group. So that's a section of people which I feel are coming in big numbers towards capital markets. So whatever was holding them back before, now I think it's clear, and they see that, okay, this is the way to invest and make some money, because again, life is uncertain and income too is. So there's a different trend, but that does not take away the uncertainty. I mean, whoever are our investors, and we definitely communicate that don't go overboard. So it's a human psychology that when the prices are extremely down, we tend to invest, and we say that, okay, fine, this is the bottom. But we say that, okay, don't go completely. We don't know when the markets are going to completely bounce back and uncertainty is going to be 100% over. We don't know that. So invest into bits and pieces, do through SIP and mutual fund, and that's the best way to approach stock markets. So, but resist yourself. So control. Don't just go overboard. So that's what we advise. We are advising our customers now.
There's so many things that we are reading, and it all sounds very dismal right now. And the ratings that India is getting is also just negative to minus negative. What is your sense of the market?
Oh, that's something very, very difficult, and your guess is as same as mine. But what I feel is that, see, though in April, May markets have gone up, and markets normally factor future. So when it went down, it was like, so we had factored in that, okay, next 3-4 months are going to be bad. But, and though market is going down, but I still feel that there is still a lot of pain left, and markets will have to somewhere stabilize and take a pause or maybe correct a bit. Because whatever I read, I mean, whatever we all are reading in the newspapers, that, vaccines are not going to come before maybe in November, December. Every day we are just showing a different high in terms of number of cases being reported. So things are bad, and we don't know when it's going to peak out, and even the solutions are not available. So I think there is a pain left in the sector. I think the pain will come out more in the maybe third quarter of this fiscal year, because today we are into a space where most of the people must have taken moratoriums. So up till September you have, and then you have 3 more months for a financial institution to report NPAs. I don't know how that NPA is going to be reported somewhere in January. So entire banking financial space, we don't know how much the pain is. But there are some sectors doing good, agriculture, or maybe some very specific sectors which might do good. So I think it's going to be a mixed year for markets, not great phenomenally in terms of if you only see Nifty and Sensex, but there would be stocks, there would be sectors, there would be stories which would be like maybe a game changer or dark horses in this. But I don't see a euphoria for definitely, but I would be a bit of optimistic, not very pessimistic also.
Tell us, to everyone who's watching this, at least guide us in terms of if we have to look at sectors to invest in, what should be a lens? How should we be approaching right now if we have to invest?
So let me have my disclaimer that I am no expert in advising. I'm not a research analyst. I don't do research, so I can't. So please don't go by what I advise. Please listen to your advisor, financial advisor. But I think there are a few things which are very logical. For example, agri, or maybe anything related to agri. So that's going anyways good. People don't stop eating, so they're eating more because they're now at home. So that one sector which is there. Private mobility is something that people are seeing that maybe a 2-wheeler or cycles or the 4-wheeler might see a good growth. Fertilizer sector looks to be good because it's agri allied. So there are stories in those. Oil and gas, that's a sector which is again bouncing back because world has restarted, so demand for crude and all other stuff has again rebounds. So that's one sector which is looking good. So I think there would be some sort of pharma. I mean, definitely. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Already gone up substantially. So there are these sectors and some companies and some businesses which would be benefited, but they might do good.
I think you've started this 5paisa loans, right? Peer-to-peer lending platform. Tell us about that, and how come you decided to get into lending when right now everyone is staying away from it?
Oh yeah, so timing of launch maybe it's pure coincidental. So we did not plan to launch in a time where people neither want to give loans or take loans. But the P2P lending, peer-to-peer lending is a very new concept, and we had applied around 1.5 years back for an NBFC. We just got in December. So now we are a peer-to-peer lending NBFC. So, but that's a very interesting space, and I'm very excited about this line of business. It's at a nascent stage in India. I mean, if you tell someone that you want to lend, people will definitely think 100 times, or maybe they might not take that decision to lend because not looking at current scenario, but even generally.
Yeah.
But if you see lending, this is a business which is age old in India. And every city would have, a middleman, and there are businesses who require short-term loans. There are people who need, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 1 year loans. And on the other end, there are people who want to give money, who want to lend money. So anyway, I mean, if you talk to any business guy, he would say that at some point he must have lent money to someone for a 2 month, 3 month, 6 month period. So lending in India is a very, very old concept. But how exactly that happens? If I have to lend, I go through a middleman. It is purely word of mouth. It's just a trust. It's a verbal trust, and nothing more. And people lend. we thought of taking this, or basically the entire peer-to-peer lending platform is to make it organized under the purview of regulation. You make a lending, lending and borrowing as a platform. So if today you want to lend even 50,000 rupees to a person, why can't you? You should be allowed. So if you want to invest into equities, you are investing in mutual fund, you invest in lending. That's something which is very, very nascent in India. It will take some time, but so has equity. And equity, if I talk about 25 years back, it used to say that सिर्फ गुजराती मारवाड़ियों के लिए होता है equity. Why? Because they were the businesses, they understand, they had money, they were doing it. But see today, every corner of the country, people are investing, and crores of people are now coming to capital market. So it takes some time. But I think lending, especially when we are entering times where the interest rates are going to be low, FD, you practically get nothing. Real estates are into negative zone for last 3-4 years. I don't know when real estate will start appreciating. So you have very limited choices to actually make money. Secondly, people are now want to take risk. There was a time when my father used to invest, and he was like, security is the first. Capital protection is the first thing. Then maybe capital appreciation. But now the young guys, they want to experiment. Okay, capital protection definitely should be, but why not? Why can't I experiment with a 14-15% kind of a product, and why just stick to 5%? So the behavior has changed. People are more okay with taking experiments. So I think lending is going to be a phenomenal thing. Give 5 years to this business and to this industry, and obviously it also depends on how strong players are, in this business. Because any new thing that you start in the country, and then you have some bad crooks in the business, then the overall perception about the business changes. It's good that peer-to-peer lending started in India by regulators. So from the day one, they are very, very stringent, and slowly it is getting relaxed. It's exactly opposite of every other businesses in the country, the way they started. So it's a good thing. But I think, more people like us, and the only reason why we got involved into this, that there are no like big corporates into peer-to-peer lending, and there is a huge market. So we thought that's an opportunity we should definitely bank on, and we've just launched. But as we're discussing, it's a difficult time. But good thing is there are very less people who also want to take loans. So people are also now averse of taking loans. But I think in some time it might change, because the moment we go back into our lives, the requirement of money will come. So, but I'm pretty optimistic about this business. And we are going like full into launching the product and promoting it internally with our customers and externally as well.
I want to also understand what are some of the other areas where we can see 5paisa getting into.
Oh, that's so for now. So when we started, Shradha, we had very clear objective in mind that we'll enter into financial products which can be end-to-end digitally served, which doesn't require any human intervention, which doesn't require any paperwork, and it is simple. Someone who can buy it online on its own. And that's how our philosophy has been. So we started with equities, then we had mutual funds, we started personal loans, now peer-to-peer lending. So I think these are the areas, and we also distribute, we sell gold. We are working on distributing insurance products. Even in insurance, we wanted to only keep it to health insurance and term insurance, which are simple pull products and not very complex kind of products. So that's the gamut of products we are into. For now, our entire focus is only on these two. So for some time, we will focus our energies on equities, which is seeing a great momentum in the country. So you need an attention there, and now peer-to-peer lending. So for foreseeable future, we will be in this, unless some great opportunity comes knocking, we'll pounce on that. But as of now, these are the two areas we want to focus on.
So tell me something, the gold business that you spoke about, because I'm hearing that there will be interesting businesses coming in the fintech space, which are looking at gold as an asset for lending, and so the gold becomes a collateral, which it has been, but just businesses focus on that. How big are those opportunities for you?
So gold, so one is obviously you investing into gold as an asset class, and second is obviously you're using gold to borrow. So gold lending is a different product. We are not into that. one of our group companies is into lending based on gold as a collateral, but we focus more on gold as an investment product. So what has happened? So if you see, typically, I mean, we all are buyers of gold, and India is known for stocking gold. And but how that happens typically? It happens through your jewelry shop.
Yeah.
So you buy like a 5 gram or a 2 gram or a 10 gram gold, which is in physical nature. And on the other hand, you have MCX platform where you buy, but then the contract sizes are more. There are complexities in terms of rolling it over on every expiry. So it's not very convenient. What we have made this as a platform where you can buy gold digitally, which is, even if I want to buy like 5 rupee or 10 rupee or a 50 rupee kind of a gold, I can do it digitally, and that much will be there in my wallet. I can use credit card, debit card, net banking, all to purchase gold. And at any point of time, if I feel that I want to convert that digital gold to physical, it's just a click away. You click it, it gets converted into a whatever, it's like a 5 gram coin or even a 100 gram biscuit, and you just convert it, it will be delivered to you on your doorstep. So that is a huge ease for people. There are a lot of people who also do SIP in gold, which was not there earlier. I mean, obviously it was there. I mean, if you go every month to a jewelry shop, it becomes an SIP. But how many of us would? So, but now on our platform, people also do SIP in the gold. So now if you see last 6 months, gold has been like phenomenal run. Though for 3 years it was at the same rate, but it is proven that for like 50-year history, gold gives phenomenal returns, though in spurts. But that's an asset class people should own.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting product. And good thing is that millennials, because you make it fancy, you buy through credit card and keep it digitally in your wallet and then convert it. So it also looks good. So millennials are also attracted towards purchasing gold.
Yeah, yeah. Prakash, I just want to understand from FinTech as a space, right? Like in India, it's so big, so diverse, so huge that opportunities, I think one has to just find because there's so many. But I just want to understand from your lens because
Mhm.
you are running a very successful, and if I may say again for everyone's understanding, 5paisa.com got listed first FinTech company startup from India which got listed. I just want to understand from your lens what are some of the opportunities that you think are big opportunities in fintech?
See, fintech, I mean, one of the widest space which all these startups are coming is fintech. And most of the disruption in fintech happened in the payment space, like wallets and payment gateway. Those are space which got maximum attention. Then after payment, it was lending. So digital lending through all these apps were the second. Uh, Banking definitely is there. Broking then got a lot of startups came in, but obviously most of because it is highly regulated, they need to become an intermediary to come into fintech. But some things which were not were first targeted. But I think one of the trends that we are seeing, and that is going to be sometime, I don't know how that pans out, but it's interesting to see is neo banking. There are a lot of players which are not full service banks or not even registered banks but offering service. I think that's an interesting space, neo banking. Second is international. How do you get international investing in India? Though it's tedious, it's regulatory. There are a lot of regulatory issues, but I think that's an interesting space. If people are able to crack there, I think that's a good
Yeah,
get, that would be a good opportunity. So, and I see a few people in venturing into neo banking. There are some good disruptions would be happening in the insurance space as well. Like a discount broking, you have some people in insurance as a discount insurance company where they offer products at a very less cost as compared to tradition. So these are some few ones which are coming in. Then one of the also an area which is getting explored, though not much, is research and advisory. I mean, there are platforms who are building on automated advisory to retail investors. So that's one of the very good areas. Though very few people are there, but I think it's interesting because no one today advises it's costly to advise a retail investor only because of the sheer size it comes in. But everyone wants to advise an HNI. If you have a crore portfolio, you will have 10 RMs. If you have 50,000 portfolio, there is no one for you. So, that's a space which has a huge potential. And I'm happy that there are startups who are really looking into research and advisory.
That let me ask you this question: Are you going to be? Are you as a platform, as a company, you individually as a CEO, are you looking at investing in startups in adjacencies, similar space?
Yeah, I mean that's not for now because that requires excess capital. We are still not breaking even. We ourselves had a couple of rounds of infusion in terms of capital. So now our entire money is going for our own business. But definitely, I mean there would be if opportunities come, we would look for investing into startups.
Prakarsh, I want to congratulate you because I have been told, and I have this paper with me where I got to know that, see, job cuts, and I've been talking about it, and we've been discussing that there's so many layoffs happening, furloughs are taking place. But you actually went ahead and gave your employees raise. So tell us, how did you manage to do that?
So, that's something which is, personally, I'm very satisfied when you do, such thing. And, it's just, it's nothing but a reflection of what our company and the people do. I mean, we are definitely living in uncertain time, difficult times. But if I look at only the effort people are putting and the result that we are getting. So for last financial year, we grew by almost 80% in terms of top line. Our losses are reduced. In terms of customer acquisition, we grew 170%. So I thought, there is nothing wrong in appreciating our people and giving them the due, respect or due over monetarily and non-monetary at the time when it is required. And I thought that this is the time when it is required the most
Yeah.
because so that's why. So if there were bonuses and incentives we gave because everyone fears that what is going to happen, and when you get this kind of sense of security that my company is giving me an appraisal, I get salary on time, I get incentives, that boosts morale. I mean, there is nothing in the world which can actually boost a morale which this can, and then people are motivated to do better, and that's what I expect from my team. Whatever we did, great, but I think that's the benchmark. How do we grow further? So I don't want you to think anything else. There should not be any thought coming to your mind, but just growth. So if there is any money-related issue that's been taken care of, you get your appraisals. So just work more. And one selfish interest that I have is that you are working from home, so you can work more. So that is something that
That's spoken like a typical CEO.
yeah. But I
No,
think
no, but I think we all are working. I feel in the last 3 months, and I've been interviewing so many people, and my team, all of us have been working more than ever before
absolutely,
now. There's
absolutely.
no Saturday, Sunday, or anything. Yeah.
Correct. That's a good thing. Huh? If for example, in these uncertain times, and as you said, everyone that I spoke to, any industry, all my friends or colleagues or relatives who are in different industries, I have not seen anyone saying that, boss, I don't have work, I'm just sitting at home.
Yeah.
He said, I'm working more.
Yeah.
So this is a good thing. So when everything becomes normal, we may see a V-shaped recovery in the economy because everyone is working hard.
Yeah.
So if everyone works hard, definitely it will transform that into your revenues or product or innovation or some disruption, and that will bring back the economy on track. So I'm very hopeful that if all of us work more harder, things would not be as bad as we may anticipate, or maybe
Yeah, yeah.
much better.
How are you looking at competition? Because you're in a space which is highly competitive, if I may say so.
Absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
have had the privilege of interviewing some who would be considered your competition. So I just want to understand, where do you see yourself from competition?
See, as you rightly said, it's a fiercely competitive space, and today every broker is a discount broker. And when we started, there were a handful of two, three, brokers, before us, couple of ones who were established. And we started, and people used to, question the viability of our business. People used to say, "Yeah, itne saste mein kaise chalega?" They will just go off. But today, if you see, the entire industry has jumped into discount broking, and that's the norm. So competition is fierce, but I think there are two things. One, if you focus yourself on customer, then you need not worry about competition at all. Because if you are if you are connected to what a customer wants, what what he actually is looking for, and if you hit it right, I mean, there is no one who can take that from you. And second is, in India is a large market. I mean, we have hardly what 1.52 crore demat accounts, and that too, on the around 4.5 crore folios on mutual fund. That's like what, 2%, 3%, and this is something, the statement has been spoken for last 2 decades. From the day I started my career, people used to say that India is under penetrated. Today also India is under penetrated. So what is going to change? What is going to change is technology. What has changed is the entire generation, and we're still at 3%, 4% kind of penetration. So India is a huge market. There is a market for everyone. And but having said that, is it that I'm not maybe conscious about competition? No, I'm like very, very conscious about competition. I am more worried about a new guy startup somewhere sitting in the corner of the country and would disrupt. I am not worried more about, and with due respect to all the people, and most of the fraternity are friends. So I don't, with absolutely due respect, I'm not worried about an incumbent player. I'm worried about some young 20-year-old guy sitting in some part of the country and decides to disrupt his space by coming something innovative. I mean, that is something, that is a challenge. That is something which scares me. And I keep looking for such things that at least I have to have a tap on that what is happening in this space. So I'm more focused there rather than focusing on what existing people are doing, because everyone is doing something or the other. So one, focus on your customer. There's a large market, and then focus on innovation and continuously try and do something new. See, there is no place for complacency. I mean, even if we are in top 10 broker tomorrow, even if you become top 3, I mean, that's online is such a fiercely competitive space in any industry. So there is no room for a third player or a fourth player. I mean, this is regulatory, so you may have 5, 6 players. But if you see any other industry, there is no room for more third player or fourth player. And even that the player changes and can change. So that's something which has to be looked upon, and I am more worried, and I keep a tap on that.
For you, from a financial standpoint, what's the big outcome as a platform when you're listed already?
See, valuation, I think what has happened is that the whole valuation theory in startups in last 5, 7 years has become distorted. So I used to read that, why are you entering into a business? You're entering into a business to solve a problem, whatever that problem is. Like Ola started, Uber started, or any startup in the world started to solve a problem. But if you're not starting a project to solve a problem but to get a valuation, I think that's a distortion, and that's a wrong approach. There are high chances that you end up winding up your business and losing tons of your investors' money there. So uh, we don't focus that way. For us, what is important is, are you there in the top 3 of that space where you are venturing in? Are you running a business which is cost effective? Are you running a business which is going towards profitability? And at the end, profit is what matters. And if you are profitable and if you're working towards that, valuation is an end result. But what has happened is, starters first talk about value, and then and we've seen what happened to WeWork's IPO, or what happened to a lot of startups across the globe. The valuations fell like 40, 50, or 80%. So I think uh, we don't focus on valuations. We focus on business revenues, profits, and these are some numbers that has substance. So if you have that, valuation is just an end result, and you will have either today or tomorrow.
Where do you see your stock going?
I am not allowed by regulation to say a future leaking statements. I'm not going to say that, but it's my dream to have 5paisa as a unicorn, $1 billion company. So that is what I look for,
Wow.
and we will achieve it surely. I
Yeah.
mean, Yeah,
I
the day we can have another round of discussion when we achieve that.
Given the volatility in the market today, many investors are worried. What would be your advice to them? Should they redeem, stay invested, or is it the time to invest more or get out?
I think my single, simple statement would be stay invested. India is a huge story, is a great story. I mean, we have not even scratched surface of what our country is going to see in next, 5 to 10 years. That's we will have a great bull run. I mean, it is very. People might feel that you are a broker, so you will definitely say that because you want people to stay invested. No, I am an investor. I am personally invested. I invest through mutual funds. I would urge people to stay invested. India is a great story. Don't lose hope. It's just a blip. It's just a blip. What we are going through is just a blip in the great story. So stay invested. Put more.